It's either Jesus on the throne or me on the throne. But a lot of us today, I don't know what's going on. We think we can share the throne. Now, I don't want to be crude, but when was the last time you shared the throne in your house? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, the bathroom. When was the last time you shared your throne? You say, that's gross. Well, let me tell you something. If you think it's gross to share the throne in your own bathroom, can you imagine what Jesus must feel when you say to him, come and share the throne with me? And he's probably looking at you like, are you kidding me? Did you die for the sins of the world? Did you get all the beatings and did you suffer like I? No. See, Jesus doesn't allow a person to share his throne. He's either going to be the one or you're going to be the one. Now, when we lived in England, how many of you have ever been to England? London? Anybody? Man, you guys are missing out. Go to Westminster Abbey. Westminster Abbey is where they have all these amazing weddings. It's also where they have funerals, but it's also where they make the king or the queen of the country. They crown them. You might have saw Prince Charles when he walked down with his wife, Camilla. He walked down the Westminster Abbey aisle and he came to a staging area, and up on the stage area, they had this huge wooden chair. And then they had another wooden chair. It was a bit smaller. And that day, his wife went and sat in the wrong chair. No, I'm kidding. She didn't. Do you know why? They would never let her sit there in the first place. Because she knew that the king's seat was only for the... If Westminster Abbey, in fact, I challenge you, if you go visit London now that you're intrigued, go visit London, go do a tour of Westminster Abbey, and when you get up near the stage, just look around and then run over and sit on the king's chair. They will grab you by the scruff of your neck and they will throw you out the door and they will say, don't come back. Because this chair is only for the king of England. Can I just say that your throne, your heart, was not made for you to sit on. It was made for the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. So maybe the title of the message is, who's sitting on your throne? Should I keep going? I got more content. You want me to give me some more? How many of you actually like country music? Anybody? I like country music. A few years ago, a lady came out with a song, and she said the song had something to do with Jesus take the wheel. And then she said these words, I can't do this on my own. In essence, what was she saying? Just pretend with me now that this is the driver's seat. She slid over to the passenger seat and she said, Jesus, you drive, man. You drive me and you take me on a journey. I'll go where you want me to go. I'll do what you want me to do. I'll be what you want me to be. You're the driver of my life. It's a great song. Can I tell you what sometimes happens? Is that when we're in the passenger seat, Jesus puts the blinker on to go left and we grab the wheel and say, no, I want to go right. And what does Jesus do? He slams on the brakes, puts it in park. He gets out of the car and he says, Jim, if you want to be the driver of your life, go ahead. I will not share the wheel with you. Now imagine that this is the driver's seat. This is the passenger seat. What's the answer? Get in the back seat and say, Jesus, take the wheel. He will take you on a journey that you never dreamed possible. But then one day when he wants to go right, we become backseat drivers and we reach over and we grab the wheel. And what does Jesus do? He slams on the brake. He puts it in park. He gets out and says, Jim, if you want to be the driver, go ahead. I will not share the wheel with you. Either I'm Lord of all or I'm not. So what's the answer? The answer is to take the keys out of the car. Go to the back of the car and open the trunk. Climb into the trunk. Lay down in the trunk and hand Jesus the keys to the car. Then close yourself in the trunk. And in that little crack where the rubber molding is, take your fingers and open it up just enough and go like this. Jesus, take the wheel. So who's driving your car? Are you a backseat driver? When I was 5 years old, my dad sat me down as a 5-year-old. He said, son, suppose we went out and bought 2 dogs today. I said, I want a dog. He said, well, let's say we get 2 of them. This one we feed. This one we give fresh water to. We take it for walks. We love it. This one we give it no food, no water, no love. He said, what's going to happen? I said, Dad, this dog's going to get strong and big. And I said, this one's going to die. And he said, okay, now let's reverse it. Let's starve this one. Don't give it any water, no love. This one, feed it, care for it, food, water. I said, Dad, this one's going to get strong and this one's going to die. And he said, exactly. And then he looked me in the eye and he said, son, this dog is the spirit and this dog is the flesh. Which dog are you going to feed? He said, because the one that you feed is the one that gets strong. And he said, if you feed the flesh, what's going to happen to the spirit, son? I said, it's going to die. He said, exactly. And he said, what if you feed the spirit? What happens to the flesh? I said, it's going to die. And then as a 5-year-old boy, he said, son, what dog are you feeding? You're going to make this decision the rest of your life. Now, do you know why Paul said the words? I have been... What was he saying? I've died. I've died to myself. I'm not going to feed the flesh. I'm going to feed the spirit. It's not about me. It's about you. One final thing. Dave's going to tell me I spoke too long, but one final thing. My dad pastored for, well, he's got 50 plus years of being a minister. So he pastored in Wisconsin, he pastored in Minnesota. He retired I think he retired when he was like 60. And I think ministry was hard on him. And he got a job working for Hubbard Broadcasting. You ever heard of Hubbard? I think he might be the wealthiest guy in the state of Minnesota, one of them. His office was on University Avenue, where 280 and 94 connect. And University Avenue goes right down to the University of Minnesota. So my dad starts working for this company. He had the best job in the world. He got to drive BMWs and Mercedes-Benz. He would pick Mr. Hubbard up and take him to the airport and bring him back. He'd pick up people from around the world at the airport and bring him back. He took Mr. Hubbard's laundry, his dry cleaning, dropped it off, picked up stuff. He picked up the mail. I mean, he had the best job. Every morning he would go out into the big parking lot that was behind, and he would go around and pick up all the sticks and trash if anyone left stuff in the parking lot the night before, and pick up the twigs. And then he would go to the front. And on University Avenue, there was a sidewalk that goes all the way down to the University of Minnesota. And every morning, my dad would sweep the sidewalk. Now, my dad's a very happy person. He's way different than me. He's always smiling. He's always singing. He likes to whistle Christian songs. He likes to sing. He just is very happy. And so he's out there sweeping one day. And now, this is the crazy thing. When I got voted in to be the district secretary treasurer, my wife was finishing out her teaching year in Rochester. Our youngest daughter was finishing out 8th grade. I called my dad up and I said, Dad, would you mind if I come and live with you during the week? He lived in a senior high-rise. He said, no, sure, son, come on. Because he's been a widow now twice, so he's never got remarried after his second wife passed. He said, come and live with me. So I would stay there Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and then I would try to drive home for Thursday or after work. So anyways, when I moved in with him, when I was a kid growing up, every night he would say, time for devotions. And as a kid growing up, I didn't really like devotions because I was out playing with my friends. Hey, time for devotions. And my friends are like, what's devotions? And nothing. And I would come in And I'd have to sit there and I'm sweating and he's reading the Bible and he's having devotions and praying with us. So now I'm 53 years old. I move in with my dad. And at 7 o'clock the first night, he says, son, it's time for devotions. And I kind of looked at him. I said, really? We're going to do devotions? He goes, yep, you're going to live here. You're doing devotions with me. He read a passage of scripture and then he prayed. And in his prayer, he prayed for this guy. He said, I pray for the guy that hit me. And as he was praying, I'm thinking, hit him? Did he get in an accident? So when he finished his prayer, I said, Dad, in your prayer, you said somebody hit you. What does that mean? Oh, nothing. I said, did somebody hit your car? He said, no, nothing, son. I said, did somebody hit you? I said, tell me. And he said, well, and then he shared the story. He was sweeping the sidewalk in front of the building, and people come by, and whenever somebody comes by, he gets out of the way, and then he keeps sweeping, and he's whistling and singing. On this particular morning, he's sweeping. A guy comes up behind him. He gets out of the way, and the guy comes and gets face to face with him, right in his face. And he says, why are you so happy? And my dad, being an honest person, goes, because Jesus lives in my heart. And the moment he said that, now remember, my dad at the time was 80 years old, working, still full-time. At that moment when he said that, the guy literally hauled off. Thank goodness it was with an open hand. But he hauled off and slapped my dad across the face, knocking him to the ground. His glasses go flying. He bangs his head on the ground. And then the guy gets over the top of this 80-year-old man. And he says, I hate people like you. And he starts cussing him out. And my dad's laying on the ground, 80 years old, glasses on the ground. He doesn't know what's going on, right? And this guy's cussing him out. And then he gets up and he walks away. And my dad, and when he's telling me this, can you imagine what I'm hearing? I said, Dad, are you kidding me? He goes, no. I said, did you call the cops? He said, no. I said, did you go in and tell the security at the building? No. Did you tell your boss? He said, no. And I said, what's wrong with you? You could have had a concussion. If a guy does this kind, you can't do that. And he said, and this is what he did. He went, son, stop it. And this is what he said. He said, that man doesn't know who I am. He doesn't know me. He didn't slap me because he knows me. This is what he said. He said he slapped the one who lives inside of me. And he said, I am proud to be slapped because I love Jesus. And I was like, I felt this big. The giant spiritual man, my dad, telling me to knock it off because he didn't hit me, son. He hit the one who lives in me. Huh. I have been with Christ, nevertheless I live. Yet not I, but Christ lives in me. And the life I live in the flesh, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me. And he gave his life for me. Are you glad to be in church today? Are you glad you serve a Jesus that loves you? I'm thankful. I'm going to have you come and just play. We're going to do communion. I don't know what your normal routine is. Do you guys serve it or do I serve it? I'm going to have you guys come and get the emblems, please. And as they play this chorus, whatever song they play, just quiet your heart. And please hold the emblems until